Hey guys, welcome back to Football Ninja Podcast. I'm your host Amit. Joining me, like always, is Karthik. This is the first episode of this year, guys. So, hey Karthik, how are you?
Good, Amit. How you doing? Excited for the rest of the season, how it unfolds?
Yes, what an exciting time to talk about Manchester United, Karthik. Number one after 2012-13 season. Uh, Take away, talk about them now. Let's at least give them that initial respect of being number one in Premier League, one of the most difficult league. How do you think Ole is gonna see this team forward, or how do you think he's gonna take it forward from here?
So, first of all, what they have done till now, I think, when the season began, and nobody sort of expected them to be, there at least top of the table. There were doubts about them being in the top four. Yes, there was Bruno Fernandes who had been performing well since January last season. But there were still doubts. How if he would continue his form, if he could carry the team, and I think he's done that. I think that's the only difference if you see from the last couple of years. I think he demands so much, and he sort of creates that. Uh, you know, uh, what people want. On the pitch. So he demands that from other players as well, and he sort of lifts that spirit, on the pitch. So he's been the difference maker for sure, and all the stats sort of points towards that as well. But from now, I think they have done pretty well. They had a bit of a slacker initially. I think at the start of the season, but I think they are in pretty good form right now, and I think the only thing Ole has to do now is to build from here. He's in a good position. Yes, they are playing Liverpool next, but he has to build from there. He has to maintain that position up there.
And talking about the game against Burnley, Karthik, they scraped an 1-0 victory. Which hindsight, if you see, there were good chances which United obviously missed. But the goal from Pogba, yes, there was a deflection, but that was a classic Pogba shot.
Yeah, yes, like you said, there was a deflection, but the audacity to take that shot from there, to score that, and then the coordination between the players to build up of the goal was pretty good. So I think that they did deserve the victory. Yes, if you look at the scoreline, it doesn't give you a true picture of how the match was, but end of the day, a victory is a victory. Like Jose Mourinho always says, you can take the ball, I'll take the 3 points.
And also, we'll definitely come as you discuss about Bruno, but let's talk about Rashford now, Karthik. He's been directly involved in 11 goals in the last 14 appearances that he has in Premier League, with 6 goals and 5 assists. This kid is doing really good, and obviously that reflects on his current. I think he's the highest valued football player right now.
If you look at him, it's the value also sort of includes the behavior off the pitch, that he brings, and on the pitch we know he's talented. We know the what he brings to the pitch. So yeah, I mean that is and then you look at the other side where players who were at the top. You look at Mbappe, you look at Neymar, who haven't been performing as well. I wouldn't say they're performing bad, but they're not there of the level that they were performing. So yeah, I mean Rashford is truly phenomenal, and I cannot wait to see what he does. He's still pretty young, so let's see what he does next.
And coming to Bruno, I think we have spoken about him enough, but the stats that he has collected over this Premier League season, he's number 3rd in the goals with 11 goals. He's number 3rd again in assists with 7. He's again number 2nd in key passes. He's number 3rd again in shots, and also number 3rd again in shots on target. Those are some. I understand the stats. If you're not a stats guy, I understand that doesn't really matter. But doesn't this show his consistency on the pitch, especially when it comes to scoring goal or being involved in those passes?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like I said, he has been phenomenal, and he's only gotten better if you look at the season. Especially the coordination with the players. If you sort of look at last season, he had a lot of goals. I mean, the goals that he scored, there were a couple where he scored outside the box. That was an individual, effort. But you see this season, there's a lot of coordination, especially with Rashford. The runs that Rashford makes for his assists, and vice versa. Being at the right time in the box. That sort of shows his reading of the game is pretty good.
And I want to know, where do you stand on it? Like, there were a lot of people talking about Ole out till I think a month back, and now which side of the party are you on now?
I mean, look, we'll have to wait and see where it goes. Like, if you really see, United and City sort of had a bad run of form at the start of the season, and that's what is happening with Liverpool or Chelsea or Tottenham right now. Tottenham, they were top of the table a couple of games back, and now they have only one game in the last 6, I guess. So it's a season that is difficult. I would love to say it's the fatigue, that's playing a role, because they have a lot of games that they are playing.
But isn't that consistent with all the other teams too?
It is. But then that's what I said. Like now City and United are playing well.
Yep.
And other teams are sort of struggling right now. So I don't know how this season is gonna end. So we would wait and see. But if you see Ole as a manager, or United as a team, I think they look much better this season. De Gea is in a better form than he was last season. The defense has become a little better, from last season. Yeah, I mean, there are still improvements. I mean, there can be improvements that would be made, but especially after the Tottenham game, they lost 6-1. You see, the defense has been much better. So you see that improvement, and that's what you want from a team. And if you can, win the league. And if Ole can do that, I think you can still get a lot of good players coming in, and make the team much better. If you want, I'm sure you need a defender here right now, so that opens up a lot of avenues. But we'll have to wait and see how the season ends.
And personally, Karthik, if you see United, I think one thing that they were lacking in the last couple of seasons were scoring goals. And the tally which we saw last season as well was they were number 3rd, number 4th, but they were like way behind City or a Liverpool. But when you see now, obviously City is missing their centre forward or strikers right now. But if you see right now, 34 is what United's tally is of total goals, and which is just behind Liverpool's, which is 37. And then obviously Chelsea is there, and there's Leicester. But then, do you think that area again? Not speaking a lot about this guy Bruno, he's taken charge of that area and to make those kind of runs or to create those chances for other players around.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if you we just spoke about the stats, he has 11 goals, 7 assists, so that speaks a lot. And then you have other players, like I think McTominay scored a couple in a couple of games, and then there's Rashford. I'm not going to say Martial.
I think he just scored a second goal of season in the last couple of games back. Which is when you compare that to his previous season, where the top 3 scored almost 50-60 goals for United. He's not even close to his own tally.
And then there is Cavani, who scored a couple. So there are a lot of people who scored, but Bruno has been that focal point, or that guy who would get you the goals. And like you said, yes, they are scoring goals. I think like we just spoke, there has to be an improvement in the defense, because they're also letting in a lot of goals as well. So there has to be an improvement, and I think if that is done, I think there's no looking back.
Moving forward, Karthik, there is Manchester United playing against Liverpool. That is going to be a really good test for Ole, specifically when you saw, I think since October to all the way till January beginning, there was a lot of difficult games which he managed. Apart from getting out of Champions League, he and obviously 4th semi-final that we lost against City. But when you just talk about Premier League, he has managed his team really well,
Yeah.
and obviously that shows in the current standing. But what do you think about Pogba right now? Because there is a lot of interest from PSG. Obviously, Pogba would want to go, at least according to his agent. Do you think this would be a good move for him now? I'm not saying this is where we are going to finish the season, but I'm saying now that he has found some form, he has probably he has figured out where his stand is in the team. Do you think it'll be a good thing for him to move and start all over again?
To be honest, that guy sort of confuses me. Like, in the post-match interview, he said he loves where he is right now. But there are times when he has also said that he wants a new challenge. But then those are players. But I think, I think he's gonna move, which would also be better because he has also got a lot of backlash from the fans. For whatever reason, right? He was injured, or he hasn't been performing well, or whatever the reason might be. So I think he might move, and if he gets a good project with Pochettino at PSG, where his rumors are right now, I'm sure he wouldn't. He might move, and also keeping in mind that he would be going to France, where his home country, which I think at some point they all want to, but I think he will move. But again, like I said, he confuses me if he's gonna stay or if he's gonna move.
But one thing that I've realized, Karthik, is yes, he's an amazing player. I think there's no doubt about it on his talent and specifically on his on skills with the ball. But there was a good time when he was injured when Bruno was in and we were still winning. So I, as a United fan, would definitely feel bad that he's leaving. But then I don't think so. If he leaves, we'll have a big hole there. We'll miss him in terms of we can figure that out. I feel this United team is not one player specific as of now. Especially we have a lot of people who are just waiting to come into that position where Pogba is playing currently. But then why do you think this started with Mino Raiola and Pogba and that entire incident?
It could be if you look at it from a different way, from United's point of view, he wasn't playing in and out. I think most games he has been on bench. Then he has started this season,
and he was injured too.
He was injured too, yes. But even when he was fit, he has been on the bench, or he has played in games which are a little lesser important from the ones that are important, which are in the coming week, right? We have noticed that. Now there are two ways. One is, yes, he has the talent, so there would be teams that would come in and bid for him if he is available. The other point also is just to if United wants to keep him, it's the statement just says that if you want to keep him, you have to play him. You cannot just keep him on the bench. So that's my view. I mean, we don't know what the reality is, or does Pogba really want to move, or he doesn't want to move? We don't know that, but I think that's what it is. But we'll see where he ends up after the season. I think he has another year after this in his contract, so let's see.
And talking about what ifs, Karthik, so Sancho, bad patch of form right now in Dortmund. Definitely, when this season started, United wanted him more. But do you think now he wants United more?
I don't know. To be honest, will he get his form back? We don't know.
But do you think this entire affair of getting into United is playing with his head, where he's not able to perform now in Dortmund?
Maybe, but you also have to see that if he comes to United, the pressure is a lot more. If he comes to this side, and if he does not perform, and then it's also Premier League, which if he United should be cognizant of that. If he's not performing well, or they should probably evaluate him well before bringing him in.
Because he won't be cheap.
He won't be cheap. They'll still be demanding 100 million at least for him, right? From 120 they would come down probably to 100. But the evaluation has to be done right before they get him.
Moving to Liverpool, Karthik, losing against Southampton 1-0. What do you think about them? I feel that in the last three games they just took 2 points.
Yeah,
They
two
drew
draws. Yeah.
two and then one loss. They are just behind United right now. What do you take of that?
Like I said, they are having a bad run of form. But I think we spoke about a lot of injured players in Liverpool. They are back, but they're still sort of coming in. They would because they have lost a lot of points in the last three games. They would have that motivation to win.
That's
back.
the one which is worrying me. I think that's one of the things. If you see about a good team, that you worry when they're winning, and then you worry when they're not, because they can just pick up the form, and especially when ex-Liverpool player has scored against you to win the game. Danny Ings, was that a cross? Was that a was that a shot?
I think that was a shot. I mean, you look at the confidence of the guy right now. That was definitely a shot. I'm not going to say.
He did not celebrate though.
He did not celebrate. Klopp did. Klopp had a very amazing reaction to his goal. He did not. He did not expect that. But yeah, like I said, they would be high on. They would come strong in this game. There is talent in the team, no doubt about that. They just haven't been performing, but I'm sure they would come back strong against United.
And what about the statement by Klopp about penalties? Is the mind game already on?
Yeah, I think it's a mind games, and if you look at it, I think they have got a similar number of penalties this season.
This season, yeah.
So it doesn't matter how much you have got in the last 4-5 seasons or whatever, but it's the mind games that he's trying to play with. I think it's the typical Jose Mourinho style.
But one thing that I've really loved right now is that I think we have not seen this from Klopp. Especially against United.
Yeah.
So that shows that how important this game is for him as well.
Yeah.
I think now finally Liverpool as a side is taking United seriously, because they, especially on counter, I don't think any team can beat United's form on counter. I think Tottenham showed us that. That side, but then it's not consistent again. And United again, I think, is the only Premier League team which is not lost away games. I think they've drew one and they've won the remaining other games, and this again is an away game for United. How much pressure do you think Klopp is in right now?
Klopp is definitely under pressure, and I think Ole would also be under pressure, because this would probably be the toughest away game that he's going to face. And I don't know. I think it'll. I feel it will be a tough match for both. I think it'll be a draw.
I think a draw would be amazing result for both the teams right now.
Both the teams, but yeah, let's see. I mean, we don't know. There might be surprises that we have seen a lot this season. But the most sensible prediction right now would be a draw. But let's see.
Salah, Karthik, is right now the number one player in goal scoring, but we didn't see that against Southampton. I think the first shot on target was at 75th minute.
Yeah.
But that's totally not how Liverpool plays. So is there what do you think is happening? Is that, again, as you said, fatigue, or the players are not able to cope up with the amount of games that are pushed on them?
I think that could definitely be one, and I think the other could also be Southampton came with a good game plan. They knew how they sort of studied how Liverpool play out on the wings most of the time. So they made sure that they cover those, made sure they defended well against a good attacking side, and it sort of paid off. And yes, Salah is number one, but to be honest, even though he has that many goals, I haven't seen. I see that a dip in the form from him. The kind of shots that he's taken, the kind of shots that he would normally be on target last season or would score. He's scuffed a lot of them this season. But let's see. I mean, he has the talent. I mean, there's
I think that the mystery of Salah being number one can be easily solved by answering penalties. He has scored 5 penalties in 13, unlike Son, who has scored 12 with I think no penalties till now.
Yeah.
Those are genuine goals. but I can't say much because Bruno again has 5 penalties.
Yeah.
So your prediction, Karthik, United, Liverpool versus United.
Like I said, the most sensible one would be a draw. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna.
But a draw doesn't help Chelsea, guys.
Even a win for either team doesn't help Chelsea either way. So if that's the case, then I would hope that Liverpool wins because then the points on the top of the table remain the same.
Yeah,
So I would hope that Liverpool wins. So I'm gonna go with 2-1 Liverpool.
Liverpool. I think it'll be a very close, contested game. I just hope United just holds their defense better. I think, as you said, De Gea is in some form. I think he's not there yet, but then he's definitely the kind of save that he made against Aston Villa that we could see back in form. I feel it would be. I don't think that the margin of the victory will be that high. It'll be just 1-0 or 2-1 to United, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But let's see how it goes. Talking about City, Karthik, City is back in form without a striker. KDB is the striker right now, false number
But
9.
they're not scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah, obviously because they're missing a.
But they are the best defensive side in the
Yeah.
league right now. So they haven't let in a lot as well. And a lot of people were talking bad about United and City at the beginning of the season.
But City also
and-
has 2 games in that.
City has
No,
City has
one-
one game
one
in
game,
hand
yeah.
right now,
One-
and they could go second
Yeah,
right now in the top. Above Liverpool. So there you go. Like that's what it is. I mean, they had played less games. That's why they were at the bottom of the table or somewhere below, somewhere down. But they are. I mean, if you see they are not in that red hot form they were in. The kind of goals they were scoring, they're not there. Especially without a striker, but they are sort of scraping through, winning games 1-0, whatever. I'm not going to say much about City. They won 3-1 against Chelsea. That was good. But they are scraping through. They're winning games, and I think they are going to be one of the title challengers for sure this year.
and now especially how you see the entire table is so volatile, especially like Premier League, what's happening to it. Do you think that we saw Sterling coming up and missing the penalty against Brighton? Brighton obviously
That
starting
was
with
his third penalty miss in a row.
became the only player to consecutively miss 3 penalties after I don't know who, but then there's a stat there. But then now that you see City definitely doesn't have a number 9. How do you think that will if that remains, if that case continues? So do you think, as you said, do you really think they'll be a contender?
I mean, they will be. I mean, Aguero is back. He's he's not fully fit, but he's sort of back. They have Jesus, who I think Guardiola doesn't trust too much, or he he chooses and picks the games that he wants to play Jesus as a number 9. I don't know what his mind is. He's a great manager for sure, but they have Aguero back, and I think he will be back in the team soon. He had played a couple of them as substitute, but I'm sure he will be back soon in the team. So yes, I think they would be one of the contenders this season, and probably not a lot of people are talking about it, and probably that's the best thing that Klopp can have right now. Not a lot of people talking about them being title challengers. And that's the best thing that Pep can have right now is not a lot of people talking about him as title challengers. That sort of releases the pressure. But I think they will be there, one of the teams till the end.
Right now, third, Karthik. City is third right now with 16 games, 32 points. Where do you think they'll finish the season? Because to be very frank, I don't think United will win this season. But if top 4 finishes there, I think that'll be a really good result for Ole. Where do you think City will finish?
I'm gonna guess, or I'm gonna predict that they're gonna finish second again this season. Liverpool again, I think they're gonna get their form back and gonna win the league this time.
City has a game against Crystal Palace, Karthik. That would be a difficult game for Palace too. That too, Palace away. Palace home for City. Your prediction on that game?
I think City should see this through. Yes, it will be a difficult one for them, but the quality is just a lot. So I'm gonna go with 2-0 to City.
Let's move to number three, Karthik. Sorry, number four, Leicester. Leicester is at number four with a game against Southampton now. That's going to be a very interesting game. Southampton is also in better form, winning against Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at Southampton this season, they have come with a game plan for every game, and they in most of them they have executed it really well. So it's gonna be a tough one for Leicester, but as we know, Brandon Rodgers again, he knows the game. He knows the game well. He knows how to play it. That's why they are number 4 right now, and it's gonna be difficult for Southampton as well because Leicester is gonna attack a lot, and they're gonna hit them on the counter. So it's gonna be a very tricky game. If you see for both sides, but I think Leicester should win this one.
But do you think that if Southampton gets 2-3 free kicks, they'll win the game?
For sure. I mean, who can? Ward-Prowse is probably the best free kick taker right now in the league. So for sure, yeah. If they do, they're gonna win.
And talking about number 5, Karthik, Everton, they are maintaining the top 5, top 4 position all the time now. They just won against Wolves, and I think they have a game against Villa. But do you think that'll happen or that'll be cancelled?
I think that might be postponed. So Everton might play Leicester next. I mean, we don't know how it's gonna pan out, but I think they're gonna have a next game with Leicester, which is probably the week after.
28th.
Yeah, the week after. As of now, it's still postponed, but if it happens, it's gonna be an interesting one.
And what are your predictions of that game?
I'm gonna say I'm gonna go with Aston Villa winning that one, maybe 1-0 or 2-0. And I think another thing here is, we are talking about the top 3, but you see sort of Leicester and Everton are sort of lurking around.
Yeah.
They're not too far behind, but you also have to be mindful that we might have a surprise winner this season.
Yeah, I feel that would be the best result from a very COVID hit season
Yeah.
where almost all the games are getting cancelled. There's a new strain of virus in Europe, in UK.
And a
obviously.
new champion.
And so let's see. We hope there's something exciting to see in football at least. Let's talk about Chelsea, Karthik. What's happening? What's going wrong with Lampard? I think now after almost 200 million put into the club, they are not able to deliver what they were able to deliver last season without this much money.
I mean, that's true. And like I said, it's the bad run of form that they are going through right now. Thankfully, one good thing happened on the weekend, last week where Werner scored, Havertz scored, Havertz also gave an assist to Werner of the goal. So that sort of gives you some sort of confidence. Although Werner's goal was just a tap in, but it sort of gives you that a little bit of confidence that it's not that you cannot score any. But like I said, it's just bad run of form that they're going through right now. Now Ziyech just came back after an injury. Pulisic is back after an injury. But I think Lampard should sort of also switch back to Giroud, who is probably the best striker right now for them, who has been in good form, and he also has a good this thing with a good connection with Pulisic. He could threaten in the air, and right now it's like whatever he touches it's going into the goal most of the time. So he should probably switch back to him, win a couple of games, get that confidence back. And then switch things around.
I think the next game Chelsea plays against Fulham. Fulham, I thought it would be an easy game until they played against Spurs. But they drew the game. Currently at number 9 position, Karthik. I think they're 10 points away from the leaders right now, 26. Do you think there is a possibility of Chelsea, making this shift happen as you're saying and winning the Premier League this time?
Winning the Premier League is a little difficult, but I think they would still, sort of end up getting into the top 4 somehow. I think they should, with that kind of money spent, they should be finishing top four this season.
But in that case, what happens to Lampard then? Do you think he still remains the manager?
I mean, he might be. I just heard rumors that he might Abramovich might bring in Avram Grant as advisor to Lampard. Him being one of the managers who took them to the 2007 Champions League final against United. Although they did lose that, but then he might come in as an advisor to Lampard. So you see that you see that change where. If he was a different manager right now, he would have been fired. For now.
Yeah, if he was not the
if Lampard was not the manager, yeah.
Just two positions away from Arsenal, Karthik. We were making a lot of fun of them, but then they have picked up a lot of form, especially after winning against Chelsea.
And I wouldn't say a lot of form. They've just won 2 games.
But I think one of the most important games they won against Chelsea of the season, and that's when they picked up whatever happened to them before that. Let's not talk about that. But where do you think they would go from here now?
I think right now every team is sort of aiming for the top 4. But they're still they did win the last 2 games, but we have to wait and see if they can continue that form, which I think they might or might not. We don't know that yet. So let's wait and watch where does that go. But I think end of the day, end of the season, the table is going to look pretty much how it has been for the past few seasons. With Arsenal being at number 5, 6, 7, somewhere around that. I think that's where they would be finishing this season.
And as of now, we are talking. Arsenal is playing against Crystal Palace. I hope Palace wins. Get some good form in before they play against Man City. But moving on to transfers, Karthik. Finally, window is open. There's a lot of talk about Mbappe. There's a lot of talk about J-Links, Jesse Lingard. Which one is exciting you the most right now?
I don't think any of J Links is definitely might happen in January. It might happen now, but I think if you talk about Mbappe or Upamecano, these guys they're not going to move in the winter transfer for sure. Mbappe again, whoever goes for him, I think Liverpool is one of the top contenders for him. The other being Real Madrid. So basically, Mbappe has to basically.
But do they have money to Real Madrid to finance that kind of transfer?
They have had that kind of money in the past, so we don't know, but maybe they will. If but you also have to look at if Liverpool has that kind of funds, because they don't usually spend that big a sum of money on a player. So and Mbappe would easily cost you a good 140-150 million. And that is a big sum of money, and yes, if he comes to Premier League, it would be an exciting one. But I hope he goes to Real Madrid, then come to Liverpool.
and let's talk about the most important transfer. Costa is free, he's in the market. Where do you think he goes? There are rumors that he might join Arsenal. Where does he go?
There are rumors that he might also join Wolves. I think the other one is Benfica. But he's he's a great striker.
He'll assure you goals.
He will assure you goals, scoring by his head.
You don't know,
beating the hell out of somebody, you don't know that. But it's definitely fun when he's on the field to watch him. He's that kind of the aggression that he brings to the team. It's great. So
and let's just wrap it up. The transfer talk about there's a new, not a new, but then this is always there. But Sergio Ramos is linked with United again. Obviously, we spoke about how defensively we require certain signings. I think Maguire is an overpaid defender. Definitely the amount of money that we spend on him. But do you think this would happen? And if it does, how does that help United in the current situation?
it's a little difficult for me to imagine Ramos moving from Madrid. There are still rumors that yes, he's free to talk to other clubs, but in the end he'll agree to a deal with Real Madrid. But I think he United should probably look at somebody a lot younger like Upamecano. They are also linked with him along with Liverpool and Chelsea, but I think they should look at somebody who is a lot younger, look at more of a long-term replacement than getting Ramos in at this point. Although if he happens to come in, he wouldn't be a bad signing at all. We know his qualities for sure, but looking at the long term, I think they should look at somebody who is a lot younger than him. Ramos is 36 right now, or 37.
I think that's something what is happening with Spurs as well after Gareth Bale coming in and definitely not performing.
Yeah,
I don't think they were expecting that though, but
exactly. Yeah, so he would definitely bring that experience in the backline, but I think
and also he's a natural leader in that position.
Exactly. So
I think that Spanish would help Behega.
Probably. But yeah, definitely they should go for somebody a lot younger and think of more of a long-term replacement rather than.
And also, if you just see from just the value of players coming in now that Rashford has become the most valuable player, that shows that if you are United and if you play well, that your valuation will go up as a player. So, do you think that again would play some sort of a positive in terms of getting good or upcoming players who would rather seek City or seek Liverpool as an option?
I mean, does that matter to the player? You have to ask that first, because if you're paid well, if you're paid well, then it doesn't matter to you a lot what your transfer fees would be. Because you're not going to get that money. The club is going to get, you'll probably get a small part of it, or your agent is going to get a small part of it. But for you, it is more important what your wages are, and if you can fit that wage, into your wage bill, then that sort of works out.
And before we close this podcast, just quickly touching on Aston Villa, played the least amount of games. They have a very good chance of going number 2 right now with 15 games and 26 points. Unfortunately,
they're gonna miss another one.
Unfortunately, I think that first team got stuck with COVID-19, and that's when you saw in FA Cup what happened. They just played their Aston Villa kids playing against Liverpool, but then the goal they scored was really nice. What do you think about them? Aston Villa is a dream team right now. I think my favorite team to look up just after Leeds. What do you think about that team right now? What's happening to them, and where do you think they'll finish this season? And also talk about Grealish.
Yeah, I was gonna come to that, because I was just gonna say, it's Grealish. Yes, he's the most important one in the team, but he's not the only one.
Yeah.
There are others performing well.
Ole Watkins is doing
well. There is Mings who's doing well. So there are a couple. There are a lot of.
You're forgetting the main Chelsea player.
There is Barkley. he did well. He's I think once he's fit and well back into the team, they are gonna do well. And if they continue the form, they're definitely gonna finish top 4, and that would be amazing.
I think in this podcast alone, we spoke about 3 to 4 teams who will finish in top 4.
Yeah.
And we are expecting at least 3-4 teams which are in top 8 to finish in top 4. Interesting season, Captain.
Interesting, definitely interesting one. I mean, that's what I said. I mean, I think that's what I started with. We don't know where we are going, where we are going with this season, but we have almost finished half of the games now.
Not half, really.
Almost like 17.
17, yeah.
Right, almost there. So it's going to be interesting to see what the next half sort of brings, and especially with the number of games that they're going to play from now till.
And and a lot of games are getting cancelled, and obviously these will get piled up at the end. Do you think that the season will get over as scheduled?
It's difficult, because it's not just Premier League. They have FA Cup. They have teams playing in the Champions League. Teams playing in Europa League. So it's it's gonna be a little. I think they're gonna still try and squeeze it in because they also have Euros that are coming in. So we don't know if that's gonna happen. If the situation remains the same, I think that's gonna get cancelled again. But if that has to happen, they have to finish the season on time. Otherwise, I mean.
But Karthik, guess which manager took that information in advance and made sure that he's not playing in a lot of trophies? Ole.
Oh yeah, he got, but he's still in Europa. Where you have to play a lot more games than Champions League. So, or probably they'll just get knocked out from round of 32.
I want that. I don't care right now about Europa. We already won it under under Mourinho. Let's try and let's rush and let's.
I think it's the priority right now. It's
Yeah.
Premier League for them. So yeah.
With that, guys, finishing this podcast. I hope you guys are having an amazing year. Be safe. Thank you, Karthik, for joining us on this podcast. Thank you so much, guys. See you next week. Cheers.